Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on 20 cable stations from Vermont to New York City and 24/7 on the internet at thestruggle.org. On 4/4/04, Casey Sheehan was killed in Iraq. His mother, Cindy Sheehan, in August of 2005, went to Crawford, Texas, to the ranch of President George Bush to ask him what was the noble cause for which her son sacrificed his life. The president refused to meet with her, so Sheehan camped out near his ranch and was eventually joined by hundreds of others. She became an active peace activist and was dubbed the Peace Mom by the media. Her latest book is called Myth America, 10 Greatest Myths of the Robber Class and the Case for Revolution. She spoke in New York City in June about the book, and we're going to present parts of her talk today, focusing on the myths, including one that I find hard to take. We begin with Richard Corey, who played a song in honor of Cindy Sheehan's son, Casey.
Out in the cold world and far away from home, somebody's boy is wandering alone. There's none to guide him and keep his footsteps right. Somebody's boy is homeless tonight. Bring back my boy, my wandering boy, far, far away, wherever he may be. Tell him his mother with faded cheeks and hair at their old home is waiting him there. Out in the hallway there stands a vacant chair. Empty the shoes my darling used to wear. Empty the cradle, the one that's loved so well. I miss him, there's none can tell. Bring back my boy, my wandering boy, far, far away, wherever he may be. Tell him his mother with faded cheeks and hair at their old home is waiting him there. Well, I remember the parting words he said. We'll meet again where no sad tears are shed. There'll be no goodbyes in that bright land so fair. When done with life, I'll meet you up there. Bring back my boy.
The policies, even though George Bush is gone, many of his policies persist. And it's harder and harder to do what we do because many people, after the elections, just kind of said, well, you know, we have a new president, so we can go back to sleep. And that's dangerous, and I think that's one of the most dangerous things about an Obama presidency, is that many people think they misplace their hope. And am I far enough away from this? Is it perfect? Okay. What I'm trying to do, going around the country, I think something that we awakened to in 2005 was that we are the ones that have the power. You know, so many of us who had become discouraged in the peace movement after Crawford, Texas, when 15,000 of us camped out in front of, I just want to tell you, when I'm talking about the dad, George Bush, we call him Bush the devil. And when we're talking about the son, we call him Bush the idiot. And that was from an Iraqi man in Nashville, Tennessee. So I have to defer to the Iraqi man in this. So anyway, when we were camping in front of Bush the idiot's house in Crawford, Texas, a lot of people were either awakened or re-energized We were taken to the streets. We were doing civil disobedience. We were really just energized for change. And what we saw was a lot of change, but it hasn't helped us. And a lot of people, a lot of organizations used that energy of our movement to elect Democrats. And that happened in 2006, and it happened in 2008. And we see nothing has changed. So the reason we're here is because I wrote a book. And it's called Myth America. Myth America. I don't have a list, but it's MYTH America. 10 Greatest Myths of the Robber Class and the Case for Revolution. And I wrote it. Wow, it's an early crowd, but it's an energetic crowd. Yay. I wrote it after my campaign because I was in a funk. You know, first of all, I'd lost, and I should have won. If things were equal, I would have won. If the robber class didn't own the elections, if the robber class didn't own the system, then I would have beaten Nancy Pelosi. But I have a radio show called Cindy Sheehan Soapbox now, and it's on the internet at cindysheehansoapbox.com, but it also plays in one terrestrial market, and that's Dallas, Texas. And that's where George Bush lives, so I hope he tunes in every Sunday at 3 to listen to my show. Rational Radio 1360 AM. But many of the organizations that we counted on for leadership in the peace movement thought that they had achieved their goal. That we have a Democratic president now, so we don't have to work anymore. You know, organizations we've counted on, like Move On, you know, like United for Peace and Justice. They just all of a sudden say, well, we have a Democrat, so we don't have to. We can work on like the issues of health care, which is important. But we're not going to reform the health care system when the health care system gives money to the politicians. You know? And the true reform is going to come from single payer, not keeping the health care and big pharma in the system. So anyway, I was just really in a funk. I was like kind of just floating around, not knowing what to do. How do you find relevancy? How do you find relevancy? How do we find relevancy in a post-Bush, current Obama paradigm in this country, where, you know, people are misplacing their hope, where the hope has always been here. It's always been within us. It's like Dorothy and clicking her heels. She always had the power. And we've always had the power too, but the system wants to tell us we're powerless. And that's what keeps us chained to the system. It's thinking that the system is somehow going to help us because we're just us. You know, we can't do anything good because we're not robber class politicians. You know, we're not in the system, so we're not the change agents. And when you're saying, I'm going to misplace or place all my hope in one person, then that's saying that you don't have any agency, that you don't have any power. And that's one of the biggest robber class myths, that one person can't make a difference. And I'm just a regular person. You know, I spent a good 20 years of my life in my van. You know, for driving my kids back and forth to school, driving my kids to baseball, softball, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, band, whatever. You know, I didn't know much about politics, but I knew every word to every Disney song, you know? And then you think, when you do start thinking about the problems, you just think, oh God, they're so big. They're so big, what can one person do? And that's what they want us to think, that we don't have power. But I think I've proven that one person does have power. One truly ordinary person can make a difference.